Hello guys, gals and non-binary pals. Thank you very much for everybody who objected to the N4 using the government's online public consultation on offshore wind. I really appreciate everybody who took the time to do so. I know that that was a little bit complicated. I would like to ask you again to help object to the Arnish Hub. That is a substation that's going to be built as part of this ongoing industrialisation project of the island that will be built outside of Stornoway. We have a window of opportunity to put in an objection to that. It's not complicated at all. I'm going to put the link down below, and all you have to do is fill in your name and address, and it will auto-generate an email which will be an objection. If you've previously objected, you can add in an amendment to that objection using the same forum. But if you haven't objected before, this is your opportunity. So it was a 30-day window starting on the 7th of August. Whenever you see this, please just put in your objection right now. We have until the 5th of September, but I would strongly recommend putting it in immediately. So pause this video, click off of it, click onto the link, please go and put in your objection. If you've done that, thank you very much. If you're still here and you want to understand a little bit about why we should be objecting to this, I'm going to run down just a few details of why. The vast majority of the details can already be found on either the Protect Hebridean Waters website, and also their social media, their Instagram, or Elon McGall as well. So the reason that I'm objecting to this, you might find it a bit strange that why is somebody who's very heavily involved in ocean activism and environmentalism and conservation so strongly against wind farms. Now, that is a sort of black and white issue for something that's much more complicated than that. This isn't a good versus bad. It's not like all wind farms are bad. That is absolutely not the case. But in these circumstances where they are very specifically being built in areas that are inappropriate, that's where I'm putting in this objection and why I feel very strongly about it. So the Arnish Hub will be built on Arnish Moor. It doesn't have to be built there. We can object to this, and the reason that I'm objecting is that the plan as it stands is to extract 480,000 cubic metres of peat. And peatlands are fantastic for sequestering carbon. They're also really important habitat. We have multiple red listed birds, of which hen harriers are one, nesting on the site, and those are observable through the biodiversity recordings that we have that have been done to assess these sites. There are many more. I cannot offhandedly remember all of them. There are also a number of amber listed birds. So these are birds that are really struggling, and they need these types of open spaces, the moorland habitats, in order to, they're ground nesting birds, so they need that in order to breed. And we also have other species. We've got all of the plant life that is part of a peatland. But we also have things like great yellow bumblebees, which are under threat already and have been moving very steadily sort of further and further north into smaller and smaller areas. And these areas, these sort of peatland and open heathland, are really important habitat for them. So I'm going to leave it there. There are an awful lot more negative impacts of this, including the pollution to marine ecosystems from the extraction of the peat, and also that its ongoing impact on island life. That is to say that there will be ongoing construction for several years after this is initiated. That will involve heavy traffic and heavy goods vehicles. All of those will of course have to be brought on ferries, which are already at capacity, so that islanders and tourists aren't actually able to use the ferries at the moment. And the increase in workforce and also in goods that will be coming to the island, all of this will all be fueled by fossil fuel. So you're taking all of these materials and all of this workforce and using fossil fuel in order to bring them to an area to build something that is supposedly going to be green energy, when it could better be used and better be situated somewhere on a brownfield site, for example, somewhere closer to a population hub where it wouldn't necessarily have to have the same level of infrastructure put in, where the infrastructure doesn't already exist. So the roads, the buildings, constant light pollution. This area will be lit constantly. It will also have continuous noise pollution, which we know is really disruptive, especially to our night flying insects and to the other animals that use light as navigation. So it does threaten our dark sky status as well. I could go on and on and on about all of these. It is pretty easy to find out all of the negative potential effects, and you can read all of the reports. I'll make sure there's a link to that below. But if you do nothing else, please just put in an objection. It's incredibly simple. I've already done it. You just fill in your name, fill in your address, and it auto-generates an email. If you would like to add any additional details yourself, if there are specific species that you're concerned about, or you have any particular expertise in this area and you would like to say more about it, please do. But I'm just asking you, please, before the 5th of September, which is just a couple of days from now, please just click on that link and send in an objection. This has not been a very clearly communicated project, and these windows of opportunity to object have been quite unknown to the local population, so it's really important that we get this in, even though it is very last minute. A lot of the consultations were kind of either cancelled at the last minute or were not made publicly available, and the knowledge just wasn't there for the local community to object. And this really will significantly impact island life and also marine life, bird life, and all of the other impacts that are going to happen if we allow this to happen on this really important and ecologically significant site. So thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate it. I am more than happy to engage in discussion around this. I understand that it can be a bit of a contentious subject, but if you could please put that objection in immediately. Thank you very much.